Addod Solutions. Add-on desired.
Welcome to Addod Solution. My name is Sarla. I'm going to teach you intermediate first year English. Our topic is the poetry Climate Change, written by Julia Melnikova. So I'll just teach you how to answer the annotation and question answers in this lesson. Before that, I'll just give you a gist of the poem. Before I explain the poem, let me tell you about the author also. So Julia Melnikova is not a writer actually. She is a research analyst. Okay. She is a research analyst on climate change, right? On climate change. Okay, so she is an international reputed research analyst. She is not a writer actually, but because she was researching on climate, she wrote this poem and kept in the internet. So this is how we got this poem. Okay, so she was born in Russia, she studied in Germany, and she worked in many countries like Russia, Germany, United Kingdoms, United Nations, and she was researching on climate change. Okay, now come to the poem Climate Change. Here she is writing all the causes for climate change, how human being is destroying this earth. So this is a lament on nature by the human. Okay, it's a lament on the destruction of nature by man. Okay, so you have 5 stanzas in it, and she is telling how our earth is being destroyed. How it is getting destroyed? She says that because of industrialization, because of pollution, urbanization, and the main cause is deforestation. Of course, all are very important for the destruction. And we human, for our comfort's sake, for fulfilling our needs, we are destroying our mother earth. So she is lamenting on it. Lament means what? To weep, cry for over a period of time. For example, if somebody dies in our family, we lament for few days or few months or years, isn't it? So here also she is lamenting on the destructions caused by man on nature, right? So she is saying again, after telling the causes, she is also saying that it is our responsibility to safeguard our planet, isn't? Otherwise, what will happen? Our next generation will not see the earth. I mean, they can't enjoy the nature. They can't enjoy the beauty of the nature, isn't it? Because the whole world will become a rubbish bin. We can see nowadays, it's all waste. Wherever you go, everywhere are spilling the waste. So she is afraid that if we continue destroying our earth, then the earth will become useless. It will become a barren land where human people cannot live on it. And one more thing, along with us, along with human, here on earth, other living creatures are also living. So we are not allowing the other creatures like animals, plants, birds, even the sea creatures. We are destroying them also. We are spoiling the whole earth, and we are not allowing even those creatures to live on earth happily. So we are the only people who are destroying our planet earth. Okay, so how do we answer these things? Okay, from this poem we get 2 types of questions. One is annotation, the other is question answers. So annotations, we have 4 questions, 4 annotations here. So how to answer annotations? We should always give a side headings like reference, Also you can write introduction, then explanation part and conclusion. Okay, or you can also write general relevance. Okay, so how do you start an annotation? In the previous class also I said you should always say, because this sentence, this line is been taken from the poem itself. So annotation, the same line is taken. So we have to start the introduction saying that this line is taken from. Okay. This line is taken from climate change. Right? Write fully. I'm just writing CC here. Climate change. This line is taken from, because it is single line, you should say this line. If two lines are given, then you have to write these lines, put it in plural form. Okay, these lines are taken from climate change. Okay, based on the lines given, you have to change singular or plural. Climate change written by Julia Melnikova. Right? So after writing this first line, you have to write about our poet also. So you can always say that Julia Melnikova, or she is international reputed research analyst on climate change, and this poem is a lament on the destruction of nature by man. So in the introduction part, you can write few lines like this. Okay, now you have to explain the line. Here what it is mentioned, this is the very first line, the first stanza and the first line of the poem. Okay, I don't want my children to see the earth die. So she says, what do you mean by children? She's not talking about her own children, right? So she's saying that the next generation. So the next generation can't see the earth, isn't it? If we spoil our planet, then we can't, the next generation cannot see the earth or enjoy the beauty of the nature on earth. So here explanation you can always give that because of deforestation, industrialization, pollution, especially all the emissions released by the factories, by the vehicles. So throughout the environment, the air is filled with emissions, pollution, and whatever we breathe, our lungs are getting affected. So we are getting all diseases, health issues. So even water, because of water, contaminated water we find this year. So climate change. So this year we have seen lot of changes. Last year, 2020, we had pandemic situation. We had to undergo lockdown, and we have seen due to water how many people died and hospitalized due to the virus. So climate change here, actually she was telling that after a few decades, the earth will become barren. The earth will be a place where people can't live on it. But you can see the changes right away. During 2020, we have seen what are the drastic changes happened. And now also, we doesn't know what will happen this year in 2021. So this is not only a poem. We have to apply all these things. We have to understand what she is telling. Here in this poem, she is also pleading the public, the human being, to save our earth. Okay. So what is the meaning of plead? It is requesting urgently. Okay, it's an urgent request with emotional, in emotional manner. Okay. So she's pleading the people to save the earth, so that in future the next generation can live on it happily. Okay, so you can explain all these things, and you can always give a conclusion that we have to make our earth safe to live in. Okay, we should not spoil our earth, so that our next generation can live on it happily, right? So next, annotation. Similarly, the same way you have to start for all the annotations, just like I showed you in the previous one. You should always start in this way. This line is taken from so and so poem and written by. So you have to put it in a inverted commas. Here also you can use it, and you can always mention 2 lines about the author and then start with the explanation and conclusion. Okay, so what is the next answer? To stop all this mess, we should lend our hands. So what do you mean by lending hands? We have to come out, isn't it? We have to actually understand what is the problem because of all these problems which I told you, deforestation, pollution, etc. So this is causing global warming, isn't it? And the temperatures are changing. We are seeing a lot of changes in climate. See, back to back we are getting cyclone. Within 1 month, 2-3 cyclones are occurring. So it's because of all climate change, isn't it? The temperature is so high during the summer. So here she is asking the human being to understand the effects of our whatever we are doing. Okay, so we have to stop it. We have to stop pollution. We have to safeguard our environment. Okay, so for this we should understand the problem and change ourselves, right? We have to stop all this mess. Otherwise what will happen? The earth will become a big rubbish bin, right? So next question. If it dies, we die as well. So what will die? What do you mean by it in the poem? You know very well. If the earth die, if the nature die, what will happen? Can we survive on the earth? Do we have any alternative to live in? So if the nature dies, all the living beings are dependent on the nature, isn't it? So all the plants, trees and the other living creatures on earth. So we live, it's a life cycle. So we totally depend on the nature. And if the nature dies, then we can't survive, isn't it? And we should not be so greedy that we spoil the earth for our comforts. Otherwise, our future generation can't live in happily. So similarly, the reference and the conclusion could be the same for all the annotations. Okay. Let's firstly take part in the global debate. So here in this poem, first she says in all the problems and how it is causing, what it is causing to the earth. And finally she says at the end, this is the last line where she is saying that everyone should participate in a debate. Means what? We have to understand and come to a conclusion how to protect our world, isn't it? How to protect our nature, our earth, so that the future generation can live happily in it. So again you can write the same reference and conclusions, and here explanation part you can start saying that she is how the earth is getting spoiled, how human beings are spoiling it, and finally she pleads all the human being not to destroy our earth, and she is asking to protect the earth. What we have to do? We have to take part in a debate, we have to understand and take all the precautionary levels how to protect our earth or how to protect the nature, right? Now let's come to the question answers. So similarly the same thing, but the way of writing is different. How to write? All question answers should be written in 2 paragraphs, whereas annotations with side headings, introduction, explanation, conclusion. Whereas question answers you have to write in 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph contains the name of the lesson and the author's name, here poet name, okay, and 2 lines about the poet. And the second paragraph you have to explain related to the question. So almost same explanation will come for all the 4 question answers as well. Okay, what is the first question? To stop all this mess. What does the poet means by all this mess? So what do you mean? Here you can always say the poem. How do you start here? So always you have to use a capital letter whenever you write. the name of the lesson. Okay. Whereas in annotation, you always start, this line is taken from. Whereas here you straight away write the lesson name and the poem name and the poet name. Julia Melnikova. Always write the full word, okay? And 2 lines about Julia Melnikova, which I have just now explained. And you can always say to stop all this mess. What is the mess? Again, the same problem which she have mentioned in the first stanza regarding deforestation, urbanization, industrialization, and the main thing is pollution. So we are spoiling the earth, which is causing global warming, and the temperature is fluctuating, going high during the summer and low during the winter season. Okay, so this is all the mess. To stop all this mess, we have to lend our hands, isn't it? We have to come out to protect, to stop spoiling the earth. We have to stop spoiling the earth and protect, so that our next generation will live happily on it. So, second answer, how can we all lend our hand to prevent nature from saying farewell? So, how to do it? We have to stop pollution, we have to plant more trees, we should not spoil the water bodies, isn't it? Because all the industrial waste are being dumped into water bodies, and that's how all the lakes, ponds are getting contaminated. And by having those, by drinking those water, even the human being are getting health issues, they're dying also. So we have to stop all these things, and we have to lend our hands to protect our planet. Third, list the factors that result in climate change. Suggest step to solve the serious problem. Same, what are the factors result in change? All those 4 things which I have told you till now. And that is causing global warming. So same similar thing we can write here also, and we have to suggest steps to solve the serious problem. So again, what are the steps? We should not destroy, protect. You have to stop industrialization. You have to plant trees. The same thing. Okay. Here our poet, being a research analyst on climate change, because she saw the drastic problems happening on earth, and she knows what will happen if this continues, isn't it? And that's why immediately she has written this poem and posted in internet, so that all the readers will come to know what is happening on earth, how we are destroying our planet. So if at least some people understands the seriousness of destroying our planet, and how the climate is getting changed, at least those people can protect. Okay, so it's not that after a few decades it will happen. It is already happening right now. In this situation, we are seeing ourselves, we are witnessing all the changes. So don't take it only as a poem for writing your examination. You people should also apply in your life, okay, how to protect your earth, our nature. Okay, so please plant trees along with your studies, and protect yourself, protect your society, and protect our earth. Okay, so prepare well for the examination. This is a very important poem. You will definitely get this year a question from this poem, Climate Change. So prepare well. All the best for your exam. Thank you.
Addod Solutions. Add-on